So for my paper, I decided to choose the game Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I chose this game because I'm a longtime Zelda fan and I've played just about all the other Zeldas prior to this one. Um, I also chose it because I was playing it prior to this class and I thought it would be a perfect example of how you can learn within a video game. And let me just give you a brief summary of the basics behind the game. So you start off as Link, the protagonist, like every other Zelda, and you awaken from a 100-year slumber in Hyrule to find that you have no past memories at all. So you're first greeted by a mysterious, wise old man who explains this ancient evil to you, and he gives you what is called a Sheikah Slate, which I will get to that in a little bit. But essentially, it's a tool that you have to utilize throughout the entire game to overcome obstacles and puzzles. Um, so soon after this, you're tasked with all the main objectives of the game, which include regaining all your past memories, defeating all the divine beasts, and purifying as many shrines as you can along the way. There's a total of 18 memories, 4 divine beasts, and 120 shrines, though you don't have to get all the memories or all the shrines in order to beat the game. It's through the completion of these tasks that I believe where the majority of the learning takes place, especially the shrines. And I have a video here of the shrine I talked about in my paper. It doesn't have any volume to it, so I'm just going to narrate what's going on here. So let me just enlarge this. It's basically a walkthrough of the shrine. The guy starts out at the bottom of this hill here. I've kind of fast forwarded a little bit because the video is 2.5 minutes to where he's gotten to the top of this hill with this running water down. Here he's trying to figure out how to get this glowing orange orb down this giant hill without it falling off or bouncing off the edges. And you could tell at this point he's probably tried it a few times, so he's kind of using trial and error to see what path he can get the ball roll down where eventually he can get it to stop at the end. Another cool thing about this is there's not one specific way to get past this puzzle. Like right there, he used his Sheikah Slate with Cryosis to knock that ball down, but he could have also smacked it with his weapon or used a number of tools. And here he is running to the bottom where he needs to use his Sheikah Slate again with another ability called Stasis, which essentially he's just got to freeze that ball right there before it rolls off the map. And from here, he just needs to smack this ball into this hole here, and this allows him to pass the final gate and obtain a spirit orb. The rest of the video is just him going around trying to get the treasure chests that are within the shrine, and there's at least one chest in every shrine. Sometimes there's 2 or 3. And for the rest of my paper, I mostly talk about a research paper that was done that's based off of physics-based puzzles like the one you just saw there. And in this research, they took a sample of college students that have never played any video games in their past before, and they made them play 20 hours of either an action game, puzzle game, strategy game, or an arcade type game. Before they had them play these games, though, they gave them a post-test or pre-test, which included a random task switching, a flanker, and a response inhibition test. They also had to take these same tests again after their 20 hours of play. And the research showed that only the people who trained in the physics-based puzzle games showed significant improvement in all 3 of the tasks. So I think this is a good example of how the physics-based puzzle shrines in this game, which are the majority of the shrines, can help aspects such as certain functions of the brain. I also talked a lot about G's principles. The one that I think was most relevant is the pleasantly frustrating principle. I think that's pretty common with all the Zeldas. Sometimes you'll find yourself getting pretty upset and frustrated with the game. However, whatever you're stuck on, it just makes it that much more satisfactory once you conquer that or get past whatever puzzle or obstacle. Um, there's also a few other principles that are pretty prevalent, which include the expertise principle, achievement principle, ongoing learning principle, and the semiotic principle. Um, I also talk about what I would change about the game, which is really not much. It's pretty perfect, I'd say. The only thing I might change is the length of the temples, which in this case are divine beasts. They are a little easy. Usually, temples in the old one take you at least an hour, probably longer. These ones, I could feed them all within 45 minutes. But other than that, it's a great game. I highly recommend it. It's a great learning tool as well. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this.